Brace yourselves, the burrito season is approaching, and with that also the most lucrative time for Chipotle in terms of revenue. The Mexican Grill announced that it will hire 19,000 new workers over the next month to support operations during its busiest months. From March until May, the listed fast food chain, which is backed by famous investors such as Bill Ackman, is traditionally experiencing a significant surge in sales, which only adds to Chipotle's quite excellent financial situation and confirms the bullish sentiment it receives from Wall Street. But why is that? Why do people suddenly feel the urge of going for rice and beans during spring, and why is Chipotle actually doing so well in the recent years? Let's find out in this video. Spring is coming, and that means longer days, more sunshine and warmer weather. But that also means more and more people decide to eat outside, which increases foot traffic to restaurants. According to Square, the company that provides restaurants with card readers, burrito sales have increased by 20% from March to May last year compared to the 3 months before. This trend obviously does not only apply to burrito sales, but also to other food items such as burgers, pizzas and sushi. People tend to spend more time outside, also in groups, which by the way increases catering orders as well. And there is another significant factor that comes into play during spring. People's willingness to spend money increases due to the exposure to sunlight. As soon as you see the sun, negative emotions decrease, positivity starts running through your body, your mood brightens and your wallet opens up. It's quite interesting that you can see exactly this effect being reflected in Chipotle's revenue. I pulled out a chart showing the quarterly revenue for Chipotle in the past 10 years, and you can clearly see that Q2 always is responsible for a significant uptick in revenue compared to the previous quarter. Obviously, there's one exception, namely in Q2 2020, but this was due to the pandemic when people did not eat out but needed to stay at home. And what you can also see from this chart is that, yes, Chipotle is doing very well in terms of revenue. Constant stable growth for the past 10 years, that's not so common, especially for a fast food chain. But why is that? What is it that Chipotle is doing so incredibly right, and how can they grow so resiliently in today's challenging macroeconomic environment? Famous investor Bill Ackman, who runs the investment management company Pershing Square, loves the stock. As of today, he owns roughly 3.5% of the Mexican Grill company, and he admires Chipotle's very straightforward and cash-generative business model, as well as the fact that the company owns all of its restaurants. Let's first talk about the fact that Chipotle owns all of its restaurants and why this is actually such a good thing. Imagine two phases when it comes to opening up a fast food restaurant, okay? Phase 1, you have to establish a presence in the highly competitive market and make people notice your new fast food chain. That means you have to find nice locations that are accessible to a lot of people to whom you can show off your new idea. And phase 2, you can call it the maturity phase, is when companies usually shift to a significantly stronger franchisee-oriented business model because their operations are working smoothly by now and the business can afford to lose some minor degree of control over its locations. If we keep this in mind and now look at Chipotle, we will notice that its success heavily relies on the fact that they got the first phase right. They have been able to establish a presence of 3,400 restaurants without selling a single license to franchisees. This is quite uncommon because franchisees provide the company with new capital that is usually needed during the ramp-up phase. And that actually brings us to the next point. Why did Chipotle, of all companies, not need this financial support in its early stages? Well, a Chipotle spokesperson said, "The reasons we don't franchise is because we don't need to. We have plenty of money for growth and don't have trouble attracting great people to run our restaurants." That's a quite confident answer, but let's be honest, he's not wrong. Chipotle profits a lot from its excellent operating margin that has increased significantly since 2016. This is a very comfortable position because it means that for every dollar Chipotle makes, more and more is going into their own pocket. Also in terms of debt, Chipotle is in a comfortable position with a debt-to-equity ratio of currently just 1.39. This rather small debt position allows the company to be quite flexible and raise debt if needed, let's say if they want to quickly expand, but it also minimizes the interest they need to pay, especially in today's high-interest environment. Chipotle also was quite smart when coming up with their menu. I'm sure you noticed that the meal options are quite limited, but this isn't necessarily a bad thing. First of all, customers know exactly what's for sale each time they visit the restaurant, and Chipotle doesn't need to create flashy and expensive advertisements to let their customers know it's offering. Second, small menus usually equal to quick service. You order a soft taco, choose your fillings and pay. It's super quick and convenient. Neither the kitchen nor the customer gets confused or overwhelmed about endless additional options or complex meal orders, toppings and so on. And third, Chipotle can stock fresh ingredients because small menus reduce the number of components needed on hand, and this reduces the likelihood of waste. As you can see, Chipotle has managed to stand out from the crowd of countless fast food restaurants and has become a favorite among investors who want to invest in a solid company with significant growth potential. And Chipotle's success story is far from being over. This year, Chipotle plans to open up a new restaurant in Dubai, which is possibly the first step of a more serious global expansion. But now I'm curious for your views on Chipotle. Do you feel the renewed craving for burritos in spring? And what do you think of the company in general? Are they doing a good job? And for my non-American viewers, would you like to have a Chipotle in your city? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. See you in the next video.